Another winner on the day comes from the Southwest Classic. This is I think the 10th year or 11th year they've played it in AT&T Stadium, Jerry World as they call it, and Texas A&M was victorious. Good game. I think it was 21-17. And so read the way. Marcel Reed. This could be his team now. And in A&M fashion, we got to go extremes. When you win 2 in a row, are there playoff aspirations now or what?
You got to wonder, is there playoff aspirations? There's really nothing to say that they are not in the right direction for it. They have the schedule ahead with some winnable games and going for it. They're moving in the right direction. Like we talked in the beginning of the year, their defense should have been top tier based on everything that we saw coming into the season. They didn't perform that well week 1 at home against Notre Dame, but they've only gotten better. The defense was pretty swarming in this game for Arkansas, getting the turnovers. Nick Scorton and Shamart Stewart were dangerous behind the line, getting fumbles each, kind of blowing up the game. They got the strip sack there to end it. So I think that right now this Texas team, while I don't think that right now they're a playoff bound by any means, I think that they have the caliber of talent to get there, and they have the ability to win every game that they need ahead to get to that point.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. And I was thinking about this this weekend. One thing they do in the SEC and across the nation is power rankings. And I had this analogy of like if you watch golf, there's a cut every Saturday, or halfway through the tournament is a cut. So to me, the SEC playoff cut lies with Texas A&M, and that team changes, right? I think last week I might have said it was LSU. I think A&M's the cutoff, right? Right under A&M, I'd probably put Arkansas and then Kentucky, and not in that order. But there's a crop of 7 or 8 teams that are vying for playoff spots. Not all of them will get in, but they are still in the competition, right? So they're vying for that cut, and there's a large pot to get first. That the pot is you get to have a first round bye, and then the pot gets less, but the pot's still good because there's seeding, right? So if you're the second team, or you're the second person in the cut, we'll say that is, in this case, Tennessee, you get the second highest seed in the playoffs for the SEC, right? A&M is in that spot where they're on the bubble, but they're in it. And I think this performance against Arkansas, making it clear that they were the better team, forcing Taylor Green to turn the ball over 2 times again, and what we saw defensively, Le'Veon Moss, being able to rush on this very strong rushing defense when it comes to Arkansas, which was top 4 in the SEC. They showed me that they have a good formula here. There's some chemistry when it comes on the offensive side, and the defense is doing what Mike Elko was brought in to help them do, defend well.
Yeah, and even like the box score doesn't tell the story of this game, because if you look at the touchdowns that Arkansas did score, the Taylor Green scramble where he threw it deep for the first touchdown of the game, they were there behind the line instantly. Like they missed him barely. Good for Taylor Green to get out of there, but it was such a close miss. And then the Quinton Jackson touchdown where he banged it out to the left, they were through to blow up the play in the backfield. He's one of the best running backs in, the SEC, if not football, with his talent. Banged it outside and got past him, but they were there on both of those, and they could have gone differently. They were kind of madmen on the rush getting to him, and changed the game plan for Arkansas. You mentioned Le'Veon Moss turning it on late. They made some of those adjustments. And, with Marcel Reed going forward, it's like you have this guy who's winning games. How do you move back to Connor Wegman, who's extremely talented, when you have this guy who's a dual threat? Teams are playing him differently than they would be playing Connor Wegman. We've seen the meta for college football is to have a quarterback who can do both. Yeah. So how do you go away from a guy like Marcel Reed? I don't know. I mean, all things are starting to click and connect. I mean, they're the 9th best team in the SEC for AP poll. So it's like they're going to continue to improve, but like they're right, like you mentioned, kind of on that fringe of what we consider, playoff team.
Definitely, but they're in that fringe spot, but they have a couple teams that are ahead of them coming up, like ahead of them in terms of that playoff spot, ahead of them in terms of my golf cut analogy, right? You got Missouri coming up, another heavily weighted game to me that should make a statement on who is better, like how A&M comes out, how Missouri comes out. Does A&M handle that passing offense where we've seen Brady Cook look good, but not as much as we've wanted to see from him, right? Are they
Yeah.
able to slow down him on the ground? Are they able to slow that running game down for Missouri? Then you after the bye, I think you have LSU. Or you have Mississippi State, and you have LSU. So LSU is another one of those teams that's probably 2 spots above them in the cut. Show us what you got, but you got to feel good about what you did against Arkansas. It wasn't a perfect game, right? There's certainly some stops that Arkansas made, but you found a way to win. You got the ball rolling, right? Like you got a new coach and you're still winning, and so maybe it's okay for Texas fans to aspire to playoff aspirations. When your only loss is coming to a ranked Notre Dame at this point, right? So
yeah, and the schedule looking forward benefits their path to the playoffs or to whatever aspirations they have, because the remaining road games are Mississippi State, South Carolina, and Auburn. Auburn at home is like maybe the easiest team in the SEC right now because 2 and 3 at home. Mississippi State, South Carolina is great, but it's a winnable game. They're getting all of their tough matchups at home. They get LSU in College Station. They get Texas in College Station at the end of the year. So it's there. They're doing something different on defense. They're showing a lot of really interesting looks, showing blitz, dropping back into coverage, bringing it from the slot, slot corner, how to sack there on the day. So I like what I'm seeing from Texas A&M, and yeah, I think that they have potential to upset teams and make a run.
Yeah, definitely. I think that 4 through 8 is a lot closer than we think when it comes to the SEC, and A&M has a chance to prove that, and they prove it in those games. They'll fulfill what these playoff aspirations seem to look like after beating an Arkansas team.